This isn't just something people talk about anymore. We're starting to see it play out. Just last week, Jack Dorsey's company announced thousands of layoffs connected to Cash App and Block. And stories like that are appearing more often. Artificial intelligence and automation are beginning to eliminate entire job categories. Is the system starting to replace us? In some areas, the answer is clearly yes. And this is only the beginning. Jobs that once required years of training and certification are beginning to change drastically. Accountants, engineers, lawyers, software developers, truck drivers, warehouse workers, customer service agents, administrative staff, logistics planners. Some of these roles won't disappear overnight, but the number of people needed to do them is steadily declining, and there is a clear path to eventual elimination, and probably within short order. For generations, jobs like these formed the backbone of the middle class. Accounting, engineering, logistics, transportation, operations, law. These have been stable careers, clear paths people took over a lifetime to help build a life for them and their families. You learned a skill, you practiced it, you went to school for it, you improved it over time, then you taught it to your children. And that work supported a household. It paid for homes, it paid for education, it created stability for families, stability for human beings and the community in which they participated in. Often these paths extend across generations. Parents work in these fields. Children learn from their parents. And often children follow their parents into the same careers and take the same path. The system had its own continuity which benefited everyone. But if those paths begin to disappear, a new question appears. What will replace them? What path will the next generation follow to build stability for themselves and their families? To understand why this is happening, we have to step back and look at the forces shaping the system itself. Because systems do not make emotional decisions, they follow incentives. Efficiency, productivity, growth. And today, several powerful forces are converging at the same time, all pushing the system in the same direction. Artificial intelligence, automation, robotics, and a growing wave of disruptive technologies are now capable of performing tasks that once required entire teams of people. Robotics is transforming physical work, factories, warehouses, logistics networks, machines moving goods, assembling products, and managing inventory with fewer people every year. At the same time, the internet has turned labor into a global marketplace. Companies can hire engineers, designers, developers from almost anywhere in the world, which means workers are no longer only competing with people in their own city or even their own country. Migration, both legal and illegal, adds another layer. People move toward opportunity, and economies absorb new labor in different ways. Technology has also created extraordinary leverage. Small teams can now build companies that once required thousands of employees. A handful of people with the right tools can produce what entire organizations once did. And when all of these forces combine, automation, global labor markets, capital efficiency, the system begins to reorganize itself, not out of intention, but out of incentives. But systems are abstract. People are not. For the individual living inside this system, the experience can feel very different. On paper, the economy may appear strong. Technology is advancing. Productivity is rising. and yet many people feel less secure than the generations before them. Careers feel less predictable. Costs seem to rise faster than incomes. Housing, education, healthcare, the basic foundations of middle-class life feel harder to secure. For decades, the middle class was the stabilizing center of the system. A wide middle, a place where most people lived. You learned a skill, you built experience, you moved forward over time. But when the structure of opportunity changes, people feel it long before economists describe it. They feel it in their careers, in their finances, in the uncertainty about the future. And that's happening right now in no uncertain terms. We all see it and feel it. Many of our assumptions were built for the old world. Many of our assumptions feel thin. But does that world even exist anymore? The question is, are we still living in it, or have we already entered a new one? And all of this creates a difficult realization. Because many of the forces driving these changes are the same forces that created modern prosperity. Technology increases productivity. Automation lowers costs. Global markets expand opportunity. These forces made goods cheaper, raised living standards, and connected the world in ways previous generations could never imagine. But systems do not stop evolving once they begin. They keep pushing toward greater efficiency, greater optimization, greater scale. When the automobile arrived, blacksmiths and horse handlers began to disappear. When tractors entered agriculture, millions of farm labor jobs vanished over time. Farms that once required dozens of people could suddenly be run by a few. When computers arrived, entire office floors of typists, file clerks, and switchboard operators slowly disappeared. Each time technology moved forward, society reorganized around it. But what we are seeing now is something different, something much more frightening than just change. Artificial intelligence and the wave of disruptive technologies surrounding it are promising change on a scale humanity has never experienced before. The speed is unprecedented. The scale is unprecedented. Entire industries could transform in just a few years, if not months. Work that once required millions of people may soon require only a fraction of that. Not because anyone set out to replace people, although we could easily make that argument, but because the system rewards efficiency. It rewards speed. And the pace of that efficiency is becoming so relentless that stability, human limitations, and the human condition are barely part of the calculation. The challenge humanity faces now is the speed of these changes. In the past, transformations like this unfolded over generations. People had time to adapt for the most part. Entire societies had time to reorganize. But today, these shifts are happening at lightning speed. Changes that once took generations can now unfold almost overnight. That is not an exaggeration. Entire industries can change quickly. Technologies can spread across the planet almost instantly. These are not small adjustments. These are massive structural changes moving at extraordinary speed. And the question is whether human institutions and human lives can keep up. So where does this leave us? If the system is reorganizing itself, what kind of structure might emerge on the other side? Historically, periods like this often reshape the middle of society. Not all at once, but gradually, over time. Technology, capital, and leverage begin to concentrate at the top. Small teams with powerful tools can suddenly produce what once required thousands of workers. At the same time, large numbers of people can find themselves increasingly pushed toward more flexible, less stable forms of work. Gig work, service work, task-based work, short-term contracts. The middle, the place where most people once built stable careers, can begin to narrow and may disappear completely at any moment. And when that happens, people begin asking a very simple question. Where do I fit in the next version of this system? Because for generations, there were fairly clear paths people took over a lifetime to build a life and support a family. Those paths are becoming less obvious, and that uncertainty is where much of the tension we see today is coming from. People are trying to understand where the ground is moving beneath them. Are we still operating by the rules of the old world? And if we aren't, what are the new rules? What path should I take? And maybe this is what moments like this feel like. Not a clean transition, not a clear announcement that the world has changed, but a slow realization that the system we thought we understood is quietly becoming something else. The old rules may still be visible, but the forces shaping the future are already moving in a different direction. And most of us are still trying to figure out where we fit inside that change. Because the real question is not whether the world is changing in magnitude and at a speed that feels almost unimaginable. The real question may be whether the world we have known and prepared for still even exists.